Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. We are diving right in today because we're breaking down a really fascinating clinical roadmap. Professor Dr. Ahmed Sateen's strict 2-month functional protocol. This isn't your run-of-the-mill generic wellness plan. It is a highly targeted system that uses food as literal functional medicine to support some really complex psychiatric, neurological, and neurodevelopmental conditions.
So here's a pretty bold question. Can what you eat actually impact your psychiatric and neurological health? Well, according to the clinical docs we're looking at today, the answer is a massive yes. The source explicitly targets a wide spectrum of complex conditions. We are talking about things like schizophrenia, depression, autism, Alzheimer's, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, and even severe lack of focus. The core idea here is that treating the brain means you actually have to treat the gut first, providing the nervous system with the exact raw nutritional building blocks it needs. And the magic number for all of this? 2. Literally 2 months. The author makes it crystal clear, if you want this protocol to actually work, you've got to stick to it, strictly and uncompromisingly, for a minimum of 2 months, no cheating. Think of it as a complete system reset. To make this dense protocol a little easier to digest, we're going to break it down into 5 quick steps. 1. The foundation. 2. Strict eliminations. 3. Healing replacements. 4. A medicinal apothecary. And 5. Holistic integration.
All right, starting off with Section 1, the foundation, scope and source.
The whole philosophy here is actually super profound. It's all about using food as targeted functional medicine. Every single thing we're going over today comes straight out of this rigorous, published clinical prescription by Professor Dr. Ahmet Sateen. He's a specialist in pediatrics, genetics, and functional medicine, and we've pulled out the exact actionable steps just for you.
Moving right along to Section 2, strict eliminations and exclusions.
Look, before you can even think about healing the brain, you've got to stop the inflammation. So for those 2 months, these are your absolute non-negotiables. Ready? 0 standard carbohydrates or sugars. All fried foods, totally out. Standard bread, wheat, barley, and oats are completely banned. Oh, and you'll need to ditch standard dairy and white cheeses too. Basically, cutting out these inflammatory triggers is step 1. It's the absolute prerequisite before any real neurological healing can kick in.
Which brings us to Section 3, healing fats and proteins.
Okay, so once you've stopped the inflammation, what on earth do you actually eat, right? Well, we shift from restriction to abundance. Standard cheese might be out, but aged cheeses like cheddar, Gouda, Parmesan, and Roquefort, totally in. Full-fat yogurt is actually highly recommended. We're talking 2 to 3 times a day, and you can mix it with olive oil, honey, or even royal jelly. You're going to lean heavily on healthy fats like ghee, butter, and avocado. And hey, if you really need bread, you just swap it out for keto alternatives made from almond or sesame flour.
Now let's talk about a very literal take on brain food. Yes, the protocol actually mandates eating animal brains. We're talking cow, goat, chicken, or fish. I know. It might sound a little intense at first, but the functional medicine logic is sound here. Eating nutrient-dense organs, like brain, bone marrow, and liver, gives your nervous system the exact raw building blocks it needs to repair itself.
And beyond organ meats, you've still got plenty of everyday protein. Lamb, fatty fish like salmon, eggs, all great. But the real unsung heroes here are the seeds. Chia, flaxseed, and especially garden cress. These are super easy to sneak into your routine. Just toss them in your water, stir them into your yogurt, or throw a handful on a salad.
Let's pivot over to Section 4, medicinal beverages and herbs.
Because this protocol isn't just about what's on your plate, it's about what's in your cup, too. You're basically tasked with whipping up a daily super drink. Here's the recipe. Blend a whole lemon, peel included, with half an apple, a piece of tamarind, and some water. Strain it all out, stir in a spoonful of pure honey, and boom, you've got yourself a potent daily tonic. Alternatively, you can go for the green juice, which is parsley, celery, and coriander, and that's meant to completely flush your system with bioavailable vitamins.
Next up, targeted herbal teas. The protocol uses specific herbs to get very specific neurological outcomes. For instance, ginkgo is prescribed to stimulate memory and really dial in your focus. On the flip side, St. John's wort is used to calm your whole system down and help you get deep, restorative sleep. The golden rule here? Brew them like traditional koshari tea. Just pour boiling water over the herbs instead of actually boiling the leaves. That way you don't destroy the delicate nutrients. And remember, no sugar, just a half spoon of honey.
Rounding out the apothecary, we've got chamomile to chill you out, star anise for inflammation, fennel acting as a stomach antiseptic, and basil to just relax your overall mood. Now, I know some of you are probably panicking right now about your morning caffeine fix. Don't worry, coffee, Nescafe, and green tea are totally fine. Just keep it to small amounts, and again, absolutely no sugar.
Finally, we hit Section 5, Essential Supplements and Lifestyle. Because let's face it, diet alone isn't quite going to get you across the finish line. The required supplement stack here is pretty robust. You need a solid B vitamin complex, especially B12, along with nutritional yeast, omega-3s, vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc. Also, interestingly enough, ashwagandha is strictly prescribed, but only twice a week. It acts as this powerful adaptogen to modulate your hormones and really soothe that nervous system.
And that brings us to one of the most uniquely specific physical rules in the entire protocol, 10. To keep your circulation and nervous system energy flowing, you are instructed to alternate or switch your legs 10 times every single hour. And you pair that little movement break with drinking half a cup of water. It's literally an hour-by-hour prescription for hydration and blood flow.
This hourly rhythm feeds into some broader, holistic rules, too. Daily sun exposure, getting outside for a walk, and doing breathing exercises are mandatory. Early sleep, totally non-negotiable. Staying up late actively wrecks your nervous system's ability to repair itself overnight. Even deliberately avoiding stress is treated as a hard medical necessity here. Oh, and the protocol even notes that a little light exercise before bed can actually help you fall into a deeper sleep, which is pretty cool.
Now, for anyone out there navigating pediatric conditions like autism or learning delays, the protocol lays out an entire support ecosystem. It emphasizes that you can't just do the diet in a vacuum. It has to be paired with specialized learning centers and comprehensive medical tests for hearing, sight, and brain function. It really takes a village and a fully holistic approach to gently support a child's developing brain.
Which perfectly cues up this really powerful summarizing thought directly from Dr. Satan himself. He says, patience and gentleness must be exercised in dealing with these cases, along with a suitable lifestyle and dietary system. I think that's such a vital reminder. The dietary rules we just covered are incredibly strict, yes, but the actual human application of them has to be filled with just absolute compassion and patience.
So this leaves us with a final question for you to chew on. How will you implement this holistic framework to support your own nervous system? Whether you're managing a specific condition or honestly just trying to optimize your brain health, the power of functional nutrition is pretty hard to deny. What is one strict change you can actually commit to starting today? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep learning.